Okay, I'd like to officially welcome you all to our co-founder training that we do every Monday and Thursday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It happens to be our Thursday edition this week, and it's Thursday, the 26th of June. And some exciting things are happening. I'm just going to lead off with the fact that I'm officially out of the refund business. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, that means you've had plenty of time, and you guys already indicated in our previous training that you were ready for this. Okay, I asked you if you're ready, and you all said yes. It's now time for you to receive. We'll just use the term refund if you want to call it that. We have a couple of different names for it, but the refunds are not going to come from the guarantee or myself. They're going to be coming from your upline. Okay. So what I mean by this is that when a sponsor goes inactive, in other words, they fail to make their payment within that 28-hour window. You got 28 hours every day to make a payment, okay? It's more than 24 hours. So you have a 4-hour buffer there to get it done on time to stay active. But you have to be active in order for your referrals to pay you, okay? Now, in the case of for some one reason or another, maybe you fail to stay active in it for a day or whatever. Your referrals make their payments. Okay, those payments were coming to me in the guarantee wallet. Okay, but as of now, as the servers have been updated, just this morning, Philippine time, the payments are going to now go to the next active sponsor above the sponsor that failed to make their payment. And that's per pool. Okay. So depending on which pool you're paying, that's where they're going to go. Okay. Now, in most cases, what's happening is the $100 payment is what we're paying back. That's how we carry the $3,000 a month giveaway. Okay. So let me share my screen. We have an image for that. So this $3,000 a month giveaway works on the premise that when a $100 payment is made, then that payment usually gets paid back up until the point that particular leg is able to pay for itself. Okay, so up until that time happens, it's a giveaway. In some cases, it might be for a few months. In other cases, it might be for a few years. Okay, it just depends on when that team that particular leg gets to the point where it can pay for itself from the bottom up. So basically it's from the sponsor pays back the referral, right? So the referral sends them $111. Sponsor sends back $100. But if the sponsor for some reason was inactive that particular day, then the referral makes their payment. That payment could go to the sponsor's sponsor, which probably be the case, in most cases, because people stay active for the most part. And the so you need to contact your sponsor's sponsor to request them to pay you back the 100, like normally your sponsor would do that, but since your sponsor was inactive, the payment went to them. So the person receiving the $100 would just send it right back. Okay, does that make sense, guys, how that works?
That makes sense.
Okay, but
Yes.
it's important
Yep.
that the referral pays attention where their payments are going. And whenever this happens, they don't let time lapse between the time that they request to get refunded, if you will, if you don't use that term. Uh, because that just makes it much harder for everyone if you let time lapse. The best thing is that if you notice your payment is going somewhere else, you go ahead and make the payment and then immediately contact the person that's receiving the payment and ask for them to send it back to you. Okay. And that needs to be kind of understood and agreed upon. And the $3,000 giveaway is something that we want everybody to be on board with. So if anybody gets a little bit wonky about that, then they'll need to talk to me. Okay. If for some reason they don't want to send it back, then contact me immediately, and then I'll address it. Okay. We want the $3,000 giveaway to be something that we can put out to the world And we want it to be so successful that we really can do an unlimited number of $3,000 a month giveaways to an unlimited number of people. How does that sound, guys? Would that be world changing?
That would change a lot of lives. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to help a lot of people, especially in non-Western countries, you know? So, that's how that works. So we have to get to know our team, and that's really a bottom-up approach. Okay. So let me go into a little more detail on that. Share my screen. All right, so the tools that you have available to you is the transaction history. Okay, so whenever you make a payment, it shows you where the payment, where the payment came from and where the payment went. So when you make a payment, like I make a payment, of course, there's nothing higher than the guarantee. So I'm the top human, and then I've been paying the guarantee, which is above me. But in your case, the payment may go somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? So if you take a look at the genealogy, okay, let's just drill down here. Let's just use a what if situation. What if we go down here? And what if we go down here? And let's just use Richard for an example. Say hello, Richard, out of New Zealand.
Yeah, hi, Ace, and everybody. Lovely to speak with you.
Now, look at how well Richard's doing. Look at all these verified people below him, right? So, one, two, three, four, five people that are verified direct to him. I'm not sure if this person, what the deal is with them, but it doesn't matter, right? What matters is he's got five solid, people that are on board here, and it's already starting to grow. So, before Richard himself could create that blossom. Okay. So congratulations on that growth, Richard. And frankly, Richard, you and I have had a pretty tight relationship for a few weeks because I've been refunding you every day, haven't I? For a while. So you made your $100 payment, and I'd send it back to you. But let's just say that in this case, it just kind of skipped through you here. If we go to the previous, he makes his $100 payment, and it just goes up and up and keeps going, and oops, and keeps going. And let's say it lands here with Lisa. Okay. Right. So it'd be very easy for you to contact Lisa, and then Lisa could send back the $100, even though you're way down the line there. You're more than, that's about at least five levels down below. But that's how it works. So it's very important that you guys are actually clicking on the little thing where it says profile. Okay. And you're in touch with your upline and your downline. Okay, I'm using those terms lightly because we're not network marketing guys, but those terms are really well known, so you get the idea what I'm talking about. And then when you go into the account page, okay, edit my profile. You want to make sure that you are in fact putting all your contact information in there. And let me tell you a big mistake a lot of people have made, and that's that they don't use the @ symbol in their Telegram, and they might just put a phone number or something right there. And I found that trying to find a person with a phone number in Telegram is pretty hard, if not impossible, right? So, be sure when you're filling out Telegram, that is our main way of communicating in pool funding is through Telegram. So make sure that when you use the profile, you put the @ symbol and you actually put your contact name behind the @ symbol. So we have a functional address that we can, connect with each other. Okay, very important. All right, so changes are happening. So this change from me being in the refund business to now all of you get to be in the refund business. That's a change that I told you was going to happen. Now it's happened, and now I'm reporting to you that it did happen, right? Like I told you, that's the modus operandi. So what's going to happen next is we're going to make it so that in order for a person to receive distribution of coin, okay, so you know how people are getting coin every day, 90 days later it matures on the 91st day, it gets distributed to their wallet. All right. In order for that to happen, a person needs to, there's a process that that person has to complete. And, just fast forward, about a month or so into the future from now, maybe 3 weeks, something like that, a person will have to complete a course. Okay. So there's going to be a course that's going to explain pool funding in detail. There'll be quizzes. They'll have to answer the questions correctly. And they also part of completing the course is that they have to have proof that they have met with their upline, at least the three above them, their sponsor, the sponsor, and then the sponsor above that. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. So there'll have to be proof in the system that there's actually been connection and meeting with those three above any person that joins. Okay. And now you've got three people holding each person accountable. How's that sound?
That's pretty good.
Okay. Now, if that person violates the pool funding commitment, those three people are going to be notified of the violation. How's that sound?
Sounds like a
Okay.
good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, that way you guys can handle it at the team level. Because there's only one of me. I can only put out so many phone calls myself and of course if someone didn't fill out their profile in the first place, I may have a hard time getting a hold of them myself. But the way this is going to be structured in the future is that we're not going to just blindly trust each other, but we're going to build trust with each other. And it's going to be embedded in the system so that this bottom-up approach to creating financial well-being for humanity, including all of you, okay, is done in a way that is strong and sturdy, okay, and that we all are, no one can say they didn't understand and da 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 da, and no one can say they get confused between wealth creation and cash flow. Wealth creation takes time, cash flow doesn't, okay? Wealth creation is something that we don't grab out of it, right? Later on, maybe you could borrow against it, but in order to do the $3,000 a month giveaway to an unlimited number of people, there, we barely have to touch. That as a community, we barely touch what's going on in the wealth creation, at least in the first year or so. And let's never forget that you're getting 10 times bonus. Okay. The co-founder bonus is huge. Whatever's sitting in your wallet, by the time you get the bonus, you're going to get 10 times that many coins added to your wallet. And then that takes a year to do. So obviously within the first year, can you imagine new people come in and at least for a year, that new person is never going to touch their wealth creation. They're just going to let it accumulate. Right. And then afterwards, they'd have, certainly some options to do that because we do, you're allowed to sell, but we highly discourage you to sell because it impacts not just themselves, but it also impacts the whole community. We just want a price that kind of, gently goes up and up and up and up over year after year. That's what we're shooting for here. And that takes quite a bit of cooperation, but cooperation that's happening from the bottom up, okay? Where everybody comes out a winner. We don't end up having losers and everybody's happy. So the wealth creation is something that takes time and we don't touch it. Okay. There's a lot of people have misunderstood that. And now we're putting a great deal of clarity on it. There'll be a course that'll be the main point of the course. That point right there, that's going to be the main point. And then as they meet their upline, they meet their with the sponsor and so on. They're going to be asking them, do they understand that point? Okay, that's just part of the make sure that everybody's on the same page, because what one person does affects everyone, right? You understand that, right, guys? So obviously we want this to work for everyone. So this system of where the accountability is done in the small numbers, where people by their face, by their name, right? And you have a friendly relationship with these people, and you're helpful and supportive, and it goes back and forth, right? So you have the people below being very respectful for the people above, and the people above being very supportive of people below, and helpful and there to clarify, answer questions, whatever, connect them to the right data, information, whatever the case might be. Okay. So that, almost like little families, if you will, within our membership. And as we develop that and everything is grown that way, we'll have no problem hitting price targets. We'll have no problem marching forward from one price target to the next price target to the next price target. This, of course, is going to make the whales very happy. Whales love it when we go from price target to price target to price target. Am I right about that, guys? Do you think the whales are going to love us going from one price target to the next price target? Do you think whales like that?
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely love it.
All right.
yes, indeed.
Okay. So, and what if I told you guys right now for a limited time, only for just a small amount more time, you could actually become a whale for as little as $500. How's that sound, guys? So any of you that are not a whale, for $500, reach out to me. I'll show you how you can become a whale. Okay. But that window is going to close really soon. Okay. So bear in mind that I can't hold certain things forever, but for a limited time, you'll have that opportunity, and just reach out to me directly to learn how that's possible, because it's not going to take long. If we're looking at basically, if you had nothing and you're buying into enough coin to be able to buy your way into the top 50 spots, we're pretty much right there, close to the point of where it's like thousands of dollars, in most cases. Okay. To in order to, if you're a brand new person, for example, and you have a desire to be a whale, and then it won't take long until that turns into tens of thousands of dollars. Okay. Where the gap gets even larger. And I'm telling you, by the time we get to the end of September, we'll know who the whales are. And most likely that group of people is going to be the same group of people 20 years from now. They'll be the same group of people. And, and yeah, the benefits and perks and all that will certainly add up over 20 years to something, around $100 million per well. Okay. You'll see it'll happen. All right. So we are a bottom-up approach to sound economics, and a system that's attached to the market, where the idea is to have a proper circulation going from the market into the economy, from the economy back to the market. The figure 8 there. That's the way it should be, and it hasn't been working that way from the top-down approach for quite a while now. It's been like the economy is serving the market, and it slings money into the market, and it's like the market turned into flypaper, and it just gets stuck there, and there's the numbers are so big. People have heard of millions and billions. They've even heard of trillions. But what if I told you that the numbers in the market are even bigger than trillions? We're talking in excess of quadrillions. I still think that's not, I think the numbers are even bigger than that. There's so much money stuck there that it's not circulating into the global economy. And imagine a world where it was circulating through the economy, and then everyone could enjoy a life of luxury as it should be. If we're going to have all this wonderful technology, then that should lead to, humanity living in luxury. Wouldn't you agree? Shouldn't all of humanity be living in luxury since we have all this wonderful technology? Isn't that how it should be, right, guys? Don't you see what I'm saying?
Yes,
Right?
yes.
That's what we're building, guys. That's what we're building, and we're building it from the ground up. And so let me just show you the power of building something from the ground up. Okay. So I'm going to start with a raw spreadsheet here. Okay. I'm going to teach you guys how to do this. You guys can build your own. Okay. So I'll just grab a spreadsheet, get a new one here. All right. Make that big, make the big over here, something like that. And we'll just call this a period. Okay. We'll call this a period. And we'll call this team. Okay. And then we'll do let's just say that this is we'll say all of this is like team. So these will be team and team and team. I'll do a few examples here. Okay. And then we'll say this team is based on 2. This one's based on 3. This one's based on 5. This one's based on 10. Okay. All right. So let's always start the team with you. Okay. And I like to center that. And we'll go copy. So every team starts with you. Paste. Okay. And we'll say period 1 starts right here. Okay. And we'll say that you get 2, right? So be 1 times 2. And let me just put the let me put the $ on here like that. We should be able to copy that now. Copy something like that. Paste it. Boom. All right. And then we will say this one is +1, +1. So that makes it the second period. Now I'm thinking weeks here, guys. I'm thinking like this could be done in a week. Okay. But it could be a month. It could be 2 weeks, whatever. Just realize it's a period of time. Okay. Because we're offering, don't forget how strong the offer is. We're offering $3,000 a month giveaway in exchange for just 1 sign up, right? So that's going to be really encouraging for exponential growth. Okay. So if we take this one and we go this and we times it by this, and we'll lock that in like that. And then we copy that. Okay. So how many periods do you think 2 is going to take, guys? If 2 bring in 4 and 4 bring in 8 and 8 bring in 16, how soon before it's everyone on the planet? All 8 billion people. How long, how many periods do you think it'll take? Any guesses? No guesses? Come on, it's gotta be
60.
60. Okay. All right. Who's that? Was that Ed?
No, that was Gregory.
Oh, Gregory. Okay. So Gregory said
But
60.
Ed agrees with him, 60.
Okay. Okay. So
Hey,
60.
I understood. I thought there wasn't going to be any math. No, I'm just kidding.
What's that from, Joe? What's
Carry
that
on,
from?
carry on.
Oh yeah.
All right. Okay. So here's what we'll do. We'll test it out here. Okay. So let me just do period and the 2. We'll copy that. And let's just take it on down to 60 and just see if it's actually 60 or not. Okay. 60 periods. So getting close. Okay. We'll say right about, probably about there. Okay. And we'll hit paste. All right. Boom. Okay. So did this work? What's wrong with the value here? Oh, I need
You
to
don't
lock.
have room.
I need to lock in the 3. That's the problem. I see what the problem is. Okay. So let's undo that. Paste, undo. And let's delete that. Okay, let's try this again, but let's put another $ on here to lock it in like that. That's important. I'll have to do that on each one, by the way. So let's put another $ there to lock in that cell. Another $ here to lock in this cell. And another $ here to lock in this cell. Okay, so now we're locked in. So now it'll work this time. We're going to copy that. 60. Okay. Right about there. Okay. So we've got we got 60 periods here. Okay. All right. So we got 60 periods, but let's see. The number got pretty big. So let's see if we can format this. And we're going to go number. let's do that and get rid of this. And let's see what the numbers look like now. Okay. So 8 billion people, right? Let me think here. That'd be thousands, millions, billions, trillions, quadrillions, pentillions. So 660 periods be 1 pentillion point, 1.1 pentillion basically, right? No, there's not that many people. There's
Little
not that many people.
overestimating, Marys.
And there's not that many people on the planet, Okay, where did it get to 8? Where did it get to 8 here? Let's see here. How about here? 33. That looks about right. So we can get rid of all that. Okay. Exponential growth, guys, just based on a factor of 2. If this was happening weekly, we're offering a 3, here you go. Here's a $777 giveaway. Take that. Okay, now would you like to get a $3,000 a month giveaway? Yeah. Okay, get one person. Okay. If you get one more, then you're gonna have cash flow. Okay, that's 2, right? If everybody just hurried up and got 2 and it spread, where you got 2 a week. I mean, we got Melee who's brand new, we got Raquel who's brand new, we got Cheryl who's brand new. And several others, that these are brand new people and they're coming in their first week with 5-10 people in their first week, guys. Okay, brand new people. So realize that since our offer got so much stronger since it was before, right, with the giveaway, it has ignited the new people quite a bit. The older people are kind of catching on. Hey, wait, we're on to something now. Okay. 33 periods, that's less than a year if we do it weekly, right? If the period of time from one generation to the next is only a week, that'd be less than a year to get the message out to the whole planet. Am I right?
Yes.
Crazy, right? That's the power of exponential numbers. Okay, well let's take a look at it from here. Let's look at 3. Anybody want to guess how many periods it's going to take to things growing by 3s? 3 who would get 3 who would get 3?
15.
15. So you're going to go halfway there. Okay, let's take a look. So let's copy it. Copy, and let's go down to 15 and see what that says. If that will work or not. Nope, 15 doesn't get us there. So it's going to be longer than 15. What else could it be?
22.
22? Okay. So we'll copy that. Drag it down to 22. And boom. Yep, not quite there yet either. Getting there. So another guess?
25.
25. Okay. Copy that. Let's just go all the way down here. Let's take a look. All right, so we're going to cut it off. Let's format this for numbers. Number. Separate with commas, get rid of that. Okay. So we're looking for something around 8 billion. So there it is. It's pretty it's right in between here, right? It's
32 and 33.
It's so basically the exponential power of 2 and 3 are very, very close to each other, right, guys? Okay. So it's going to take maybe one less period. Okay. Now what about 5? What do you think is going to happen when I do 5? Any guesses? All right, let's
15.
15. Okay, let's see what happens. See, copy that. And let's just drag it all the way down. Let's just look at the whole thing. And we'll go paste. Okay, now convert that to numbers. Separate it. Get rid of the decimals. All right, so let's see here. 5. Interesting. So it's basically right here. So we can get rid of that one. Okay. So basically it's right in between here, right? So
Right.
there you go. So basically 31, 32, 33. Interesting, right?
Mm.
What about 10? What about 10? Let's take a look at that one. Copy that. Drag it all the way down.
I'll go back to 15 again.
Back to 15 again. And we'll paste it. Okay. Enter. And let's convert that to numbers.
Nope.
Number. Separate it. And boom. And boom. Okay, there you go. So technically, am I doing this the right way? You know what? There's something wrong with the math. I'm already starting to see it. So this is doing it by twos. So yeah, I apologize. These numbers weren't looking right to me in the first place. So we got to do these the right way. No wonder it's all this is all based on doubles anyway. So all of that math is wrong. So let's make sure we get the math right here. So it should be basically this number. Whoops. It should be this number times this number. And then we lock that in like this. Yeah. And it should be this number. And then times this number. And then we lock that number in like this. And I think I might have made a mistake on the other thing. Like that. Did I do plus or?
That's
I did times. Yeah, this is right now. Yeah, so I knew I was doing something wrong here. Okay, so plus 10 and times this. And we lock it in like that. I'll make sure I locked in 5 as well. That's locked in. 3 is locked in. All right, so now we'll just take these numbers and drag them out because I was completely messed up. I was doing everything on doubles and calling it triples and, multiplying.
right.
It was all wrong, okay? We'll just drag it down here like that. And we'll go paste. And we'll look at the real numbers this time, okay? And we're going to stretch this out a little bit. Make that bigger, make that bigger, and make that bigger. Okay. Okay, now we're talking. So that's basically 10. That's 10. So whoever said around 20 was right. So on on a 3, the exponential number, you get to 10 billion by the 21st period. Okay. Over here you get to it's right in between here and here, right? So it's like within 15 here.
19.
Yeah. So get rid of all that. And then when it comes to 10 by 10 by 10, okay, you're reaching 10 billion there after just 10 periods, okay? What I'm trying to do is help you guys see how things could explode, okay? And I want you to mentally prepare for the explosion because I'm actually creating the explosion on purpose, okay? Because doing this quickly is actually the least painful way to do this, by the way. Okay, now that's 10 million. It needs to go longer than that. So copy that. Down 3 more, paste. That's 10 billion. Okay, that's 10 billion right there. Okay. So here we get to 8 billion right in between there. Here we get to 8 billion right in between there. Okay. So if we want to highlight it, we could highlight this one. We could highlight this one. We could highlight this one. And we could highlight this one. Okay. So the difference between the exponential growth of 2, 3, 5, and 10, you see, it's powerful. Even 2, wouldn't you guys agree that even 2 is powerful? Would you guys agree with me on that? That's not a lot of generations. Do you realize that our team has already got levels that are longer than 33 levels down from me, so we've already got legs that are that long already. Okay.
Wow.
So
It's great to have that visual. Absolutely great to have that.
people need to
It paints
see
a
this.
really beautiful picture of
Now,
what things can be.
Now picture this, picture the habit of all members, new, old, and in between. Everybody's in the habit of buying $1 of coin every day. And couple that with those numbers. Okay. Right? What do you think that's going to do to the stability of our coins? What do you guys think is going to happen to the
Gonna
price?
push it up pretty quickly.
Well, $1 a day don't push it very hard, but it creates stability. Okay.
Ah,
Right? Imagine if
Yeah.
we had 1 million people buying $1 worth of the coin every day.
That's
Right.
massive stability. Yep.
How many of you would like to have price stability in pool funding coins? How many of you would like to have that?
Yes, please.
Me,
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
all of us.
So I'm not gonna make it mandatory. I don't think we need to make it mandatory, but I do want you to know that I've been paying $1 a day for a while. Okay. And I'm leading by example. I just want you to do what I do, right? Do what I do, and then you can be rich like me, like Garfield always say, we want to be like you. Anyway, so yeah. So look, that's what you got to do. Just realize that little small things add up. Okay, two people who get two people, it adds up. $1 a day, every member paying $1 a day just to have the coin, it's a way of showing gratitude. It also sends a message to, I like to refer to it as the universe, right? You're basically telling the universe, I'm ready for abundance, right? When you hesitate, you're telling the universe you're not ready for abundance. What message do you want to send to the universe? That's the question I'm asking you. Do you want to tell the universe you're ready for abundance, or you want to tell the universe you're not ready for abundance? You tell me. What message do you want to send to the universe? Tell me.
I'm ready.
You're ready? Ready for abundance? Okay.
You got it.
All right.
I'm there.
So that's it, guys. That's the whole point, is that realize your whole reality is a mirror of you. Okay? Your whole reality. And what you put out, what you project out comes back at you, the reflection. And that, as you observe, you're really just observing a reflection of yourself, right? And that's why if you don't like something, well, then fix it. You're the one in charge of you. Okay? Fix it. Right? You should feel powerful knowing that you have that much power, that you can fix it. You can fix the reflection because you are in charge of you. You're in charge of your mental state. You're in charge of your emotional state, your physical state, and every other state you can come up with. Okay. You're in charge. You're the one that chooses. And you're not alone. You have divine power running through you, whether you realize it or not. Some of you, through disbelief, don't realize that you have divine power. Okay. Take any superhero from any comic book, you got more power than any of them. Okay. You got divine power, right? Running through you, in you. Access it. Become more, be more, Let go of self-limiting beliefs. Just shed them like, just wash them off. Just wash them away because they're not serving you. Instead, as you serve yourself and do good to yourself, you learn how to do good to others, right? As you treat yourself well, you learn how to treat other people well. Does that make sense to you guys? That
Yeah.
be kind to yourself. That's how you learn to be kind to others, right?
Right.
Help yourself so that you can, so that you're helpful to others. Okay? This is what makes a beautiful world. This is the world we're creating together. So forget about the whole top-down thing that's been going on, because I think kind of the situation got hijacked a while back. Apparently that we started out in like this paradise, everyone got to enjoy it, and it kind of got hijacked a little bit down the road there. And then we got confused, right? And then we started to think that it's somebody else's fault, what's going on, right? But when we realize the power's always been there within you, and it's just a matter of being able to see that with your own eyes. Okay. And once you see it and you realize the reality, what it is, when you realize, okay, realize, get real with yourself and realize that the only one stopping you from being a well is you. The only one stopping you from being wealthy is you. The only one stopping you from, having abundance is you. The only one stopping you from having all of that sooner versus later is you. You're the only one that's in the way. So just figure out that there's something going on. Look at it, observe it, and with kindness, with forgiveness to yourself, allow yourself to change. Allow yourself to receive. Okay? I think a lot of people cut themselves off on receiving. It's like, I'm too prideful to receive, or I'm not going to receive because, I could do this, or I can take care of this, and they don't want to receive. Forget about that. Why cut off the divine? Right? Why cut it off? Where that's all the power, if you think about it. Okay. Why wouldn't you want to receive from the divine? Do you get it? Don't cut that off. That's your juice, baby. That's what's making you go, 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 whether you realize it or not. It'll get you by day, but if you cut it off, you just don't have that happiness. You don't have that joy. You don't have that good vibration, and that's what you want. Okay, so realize as a team of people with these ideas that I'm sharing right now, spreading that out to the world around us will change because we changed. And then the reflection has to change when we change. I hope that makes sense, right? When we
Yep,
change,
makes sense.
the world changes, right? Gandhi put it this way. Gandhi is someone I look up to, okay, for what it's worth. Okay, but Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world, right? Be the change you want to see in the world. Same idea. And one guy was fed up with the top-down approach of the British people that were basically occupying their, Indian country, One guy got fed up enough that he decided that he was going to be the change that he wanted to see in the world. And the idea caught on to a handful of people, then a handful of people caught on to a larger group of people. And before you know it, he'd be sitting up on a hilltop talking to mass quantities of people, saying, things like civil disobedience, right? I think that's where that came from, was from him. Civil disobedience. So he wasn't saying be violent. He wasn't saying burn down the town. He was just saying don't comply with illogical stuff, right? Don't go along with bad ideas, right? Even if they make the bad idea into a law, they're occupied at the time. At the time it was, as they said at one point, the British Empire, the sun would never set on the British. It was a great empire at one point, but and probably secretly they probably still think that's the truth. So, but the fact is that the reason why Gandhi was successful is because it was nonviolent. That's why it worked. Does that make sense, guys? He just changed people's minds. He changed people the way they think, right? And no one had to go out there and do anything that was harmful to anyone. They just, whatever. They didn't show up for work, stuff like that. Oh, you didn't come to work. You're supposed to come work. Maybe for some people that was their form of civil disobedience. They just didn't show up because they didn't want to keep supporting the system of their own enslavement, by the occupation of Great Britain over India. And now, India is in charge of India. And I think that's a good thing, So same thing here, guys. We're kind of occupied by these institutional financial institutions and financial systems that don't serve us. Okay, clearly they're not serving us now. Okay, you just need to let them go. We don't need to destroy them. They're in self-destruct mode anyway. Okay, all we got to do is just pull away from it. And if you know a bomb's going to go off, why do you want to stand next to it, right? You don't want to stand next to a bomb you know is going to go off. If it's going to implode on itself, just move away from it, right? That's all we're doing, moving away. And we're getting back to the basics. The basics is market economy, market economy, market. That's the way it's supposed to be, guys. We forgot, I guess. You know, we turned the market into flypaper. That doesn't make sense. Okay. And for a long time, I thought that if we could just turn everybody into a trader, you know, that would work. But then I found from personal experience of being, wiped out more than one time on my trading accounts that it only takes one big mistake and then you're kind of starting over. And then the other thing is when do you pull out enough money to pay your bills and feed yourself and all that? It really the whole trading idea and cash flow, they don't really work together very well. You know what I'm saying? So with that being true, I figured out that, you know what, why even bother trying to learn how to trade, because it's a game built for the few to win at the expense of everyone else. That's how it's designed. And now they got, AI in the middle of it doing nano trades in nanoseconds. No human could keep up with that. So no, trading is not the answer. But the market is the answer, but not as traders. We just have, that's why pool funding is designed the way it's designed so that there's flow, right? There's flow back and forth. And that's going to work because it's called building equity. Okay. A lot of people become wealthy because they manage debt. Robert Kiyosaki is a good example of that. He's a master at managing mass quantities of debt. Okay. But he lives like a billionaire, because he's able to manage, a lot of real estate, a lot of things like that. But it's debt. He manages it. But a lot of us don't have like an appetite for that. Do you guys have an appetite for mass quantities of debt? Anybody here have that appetite for mass quantities of debt? I don't have
Not
that.
so far.
I don't have that appetite. And so that never made sense to me, even though I love the guy. I love the Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I read all his books. I mean, Cash Flow Quadrant. I mean, man, I'm a big fan. But I could just never get into the idea of putting yourself on the hook like that. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, debt and bondage and slavery, they all kind of mean the same thing in my head. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's the way I look at it. But when I look at equity, okay, building equity, okay, that's beautiful. Okay, that's a good thing. And so we're leveraging everything we do in pool funding is leveraging as a way to create and build equity, right? Equity is something that holds value in and of itself. That's what we got here in pool funding, right? And a lot of you can't see that. You're looking too close or not, or you're just confused. Okay. But the cool thing, you don't have to understand everything. You don't have to understand it the way I understand it. All you got to understand is that can you do the 2-minute activity? Yes. Okay, then do it. Okay, can you get at least one person in this thing? Can you do that? Yes. Okay, then fine. You'll get $3,000 a month. And even if it takes you years of receiving $3,000 a month of an equity that's appreciating in value before you finally, get into the second and third person and build a team, fine. It's okay, right? At least you can still win with just one person, right? You still get to be a winner, even if you have just one person. If you got two people, double up your win. Okay. Now you got a little bit of cash flow. That potential there is, $30,000 a month. That's the potential of having two, and $30,000 a month in cash flow in addition to the wealth creation. Okay. All by design. Only takes 4 to be a millionaire. And 10, you're perfectly balanced with the system and you become the blossom that the rest of the team is looking for in order for it to flourish. Okay, so a rose bush isn't that good to look at when it's just all green and there's no flowers on it, right? I mean, it just looks like sticks, right? Green sticks. But as soon as it starts blossoming and the flowers come out on that rose, what a beautiful thing, right? And that's how it works here too. It looks like this, guys. When you blossom, this is what a blossom looks like. Share. Something blossoming will look like this. The yellow part of this is what I'm talking about. So this yellow blossom here, okay, that's a total of 10. Okay, some of us will go out there and get 10. And hallelujah, because everybody, all of these green people benefit from this one person right there getting 10. So all of them benefit. All of them benefit because one did it here. And it doesn't matter if that's 20 levels down or 2 levels down, doesn't matter. Eventually, those legs will blossom, okay? And when they do, that could propel someone that only got 2 people in pool funding ever. And at some point, that could blossom where they're getting $30,000 a month in cash flow from that second person in a $1,000 pool. They got one person that's covering their activity every day in the $1,000 pool, and the second person giving positive cash flow. That's $30,000 a month on just 2. And I don't know about you, but most people will be pretty happy living on $30,000 a month. So it only takes 2 to make that happen, and it could blossom and get you there. But it's bottom up, not top down. Okay. And the best part about pool funding is that you get to have a say in it all. Okay. If you're you have a big say. Okay. If you're a co-founder, you definitely have a say. And every time you come to a meeting like this, you have an opportunity to say something. Okay. Later on, we'll have 1 million partners. Then after that, we'll have regular members. But basically, there's a lot of people in this. The way this is structured is called a decentralized autonomous organization. It's different than like an LLC. Okay. It's different than a corporation, but a decentralized autonomous organization, that's what we're developing here, guys. And that means that you get to have a say. That poor lady that lost her job, to a $200,000 job working for a Fortune 1500 company corporation in America. She had somewhat of a say up until the point where they said, we are laying you off along with another 150 people. You and 150, you got to go, right? They let her go. So that's as far as her say would take her. Okay, but with pool funding, you have a voice. So that's my presentation, my training for you all today. What do you guys get out of the training today? Any feedback? What did you think about training today? Did it open your minds up to some things? Is it working? Is the training working?
Excellent.
Is it excellent? Okay, good. All right. Thank you, Scott. Anybody else want to contribute? What are your thoughts on training today? Any insights that you found profound today? Anybody want to share an insight? Did I inspire Richard? Did I inspire you a little bit today out of New Zealand?
We have another new member from New Zealand who Matoha introduced, and that's Casey.
Oh, okay.
So she's new to the first meeting today, I think.
Okay, so is that Maroho Wade, and it's her referral?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, she's giving a heart to us right now on the screen. Okay. All right, well, good. Well, a lot of you are way more talkative when it's one-on-one. I'll be honest with you. So, but I guess you get in a group setting and you get a little shy. But I hope we can shake that off too. Eventually we just have a big party together every time we get together. That's how I'd like it to be, honestly. So,
Well, if I could just jump in real quick.
sure.
Joe,
Joe.
I think definitely seeing the power of duplication. You can hear it and it sounds good, but to actually have it scaled out in front of you and see how powerful it is, I'm hoping that's going to inspire a lot of us to take this seriously and go out and help people get extra money in their lives.
So when you see those numbers on the screen like that, and you hear me say, I'm still expecting us to get to 1 million members by the end of the year. It makes sense when you see it on the screen like that, right?
Yes, it does.
Yeah,
It's
if I
definitely
say
possible.
we got 3,500 active members right now, and we have 6 months left in the year, and we're gonna get to 1 million people, some of you might be like, huh? Right? I mean, they'll be like, how are we going to go from 3,500 to 1 million people, and then with only 6 months left in the year, right? That's how people might be thinking about it. But see, my brain doesn't work like most people's brain. My brain has been trained to think in exponentialities, so that's why I'm good at it, and that's why I've been successful building very large teams. This isn't my first attempt at building a team into the millions of people, guys. I've already done it. I have built teams of people that are in the millions. When I made my first million in team building, I had a team of 222,000 by the time that came to an end. But I built a team in 15 months from me to 222,000 people in 15 months. It's part of my origin story. You can go watch the video on my channel. Okay. So it's all there. I'm telling you, I've got experience doing this. I know the numbers backwards and forwards, and I'm glad Joe spoke out and said it was inspiring to see it on a screen like that, right? So realize that together we're going to win. And Carrie, hello, Carrie from Thailand, got your hand up. It's always good to
Good
hear.
morning, everybody. Morning, Ace.
Good morning to you.
Great training. It
Yes.
was really powerful and lovely to see the numbers. Thank you. But I'm still confused, and I know we've had this in a private conversation. Where does the 3,000 a month come from?
Perfect. I can answer that. Okay.
Two people, you cannot have 3,000 a month, right?
Yeah. So basically, they're getting $3,000 of PFS.
Yes. Okay. So it's in the coin. It's not touchable for many years. So
It's
not.
in the wealth creation. They're getting $3,000 a month in wealth creation, right?
Okay.
So like the 3,000 you got in January, maybe by March it might be worth $9,000, right? So it's
Yes.
increasing in value, right? So it's an asset that's growing in value. And by the time we get to July of 2026, I promise you by that point we'll have an option to borrow against our coins. Okay, how about that
Okay.
for a
Yeah.
date?
Yeah, I understand that we're gonna have a date. So we're gonna have a date in Philippines on that one, right?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, good, John. No. I just have to, I'm trying to explain to people, but people, when you explain to them, oh, I want the 3,000, I want it now.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not a now bonus; it's in the future bonus.
Right. Yeah.
Future income.
Yeah. What's real about it is the sense that it helps them to acquire an income in cash flow, right? So basically, the ever increasing value of our coins inspires
Mhm.
the cash flow side of things to flourish and grow quickly. And that's what we want. We want the builders to be paid, not the people sitting on their hands, or the people who've got they're wrapped in so much self-doubt and self-limiting beliefs that they can't, mobilize to even get one person to join, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that's true for everybody that hasn't got one person. I know certain circumstances do apply, but I'm just saying for the most part, it's self-limiting beliefs, and who can fix that is the self, right? Each one of us has a self, right? So we need to apply that, connect to the divine, and just, at least get one, right? Or two. And even better if you get 4. 10 would be the best. If you have more than 10 would be even better, right? Right?
Yeah, sure.
And that's the
Thank
deal.
you. Thank you.
But yeah, we don't want people to think that we're doing some sort of like crazy magic here. You know what I'm saying? We know the rabbit was up the sleeve of the magician the entire time. He wasn't actually pulling it out of the hat. You know what I'm saying? he had him in his sleeve, right? And oh, another rabbit, right? Right. So we're not trying to say that money just comes out of thin air in the sense of what we're doing here, when it comes to the people wanting to spend it. So yeah, we're going to give you $3,000 a month, but guess what happens if you just honor it, right? If you violate the pool funding commitment, then yeah, it's going to end that $3,000 a month for you at that point, right? So your whole
Yeah.
wealth creation side of the equation just goes to crap. Okay. So
Yes.
this is what we need to tell people in the course that they're going to take. So they're going to take a course. It's going to be very well understood that they're going to ruin. They have the power. They have the power to ruin their wealth creation inside of pool funding, and that selling hurts themselves, right? And once that message is very, very clear, I don't think we're going to have a big problem with people prematurely selling, because no wealth creation plan is something where you put something in today and a week later or a month later, even 3 months later, you're yanking it out, and we call that wealth. It doesn't work like that anywhere, right? Wealth creation always takes time, and a year is not that long in a wealth creation plan, but yeah, technically, there it is. Joe, you got your hand up.
Perfect. Thank you,
Yeah.
Ace.
You're
Well,
welcome.
are you done, Carrie?
Yes, I am.
Um,
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, okay. Yeah, speaking of which, when do you see that happening?
Which
I mean,
part?
what's the status on the questionnaire, or
The course?
the course that, yeah, where
Yeah,
is that at?
yeah, before the end of July.
Okay,
So the step we took today in releasing me from being the refund guy, okay, and making you guys the refund people, right? So that's the step in the right direction, where you're talking to each other. Now you really got to talk to each other, right? See, the biggest challenge I have in 2025 with humanity is that we have really become more isolated and reluctant to talk to each other. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we were way more talkative in the 1970s, Joe, and way more talkative in the
hey, wait a minute.
1980s. Okay. We were way more talkative. We got into the 2000s and the 2010s. And
Yeah, well,
and then we
we
went to
didn't
the stupid thing called the pandemic in 2020, and then we just like all got quiet, and we stopped talking to each other. We got
we didn't have the individual, like our cell phones and tablets and computers. We did, it creates separation.
yeah.
And so,
What
so
we thought was connecting us actually separated us.
yeah, yeah. So we're not getting together, face to face, person to person. It's online, and it's a big shift,
It's a change.
very big shift. But
But
so we're fractured, instead of being together, we're in pieces. We're all our separate little pieces. So
you're
it's
right.
nice to get back together again. And the way to do it is person to person. So just like the good old days, it's just like what people did back, like you were talking back in the 1800s, and before,
Yeah.
before, you remember those days, right, Ace?
1800s, no. I can picture
But
them.
that was it, the family unit was, well, for the most part, a tight unit. I mean, and that worked for generations, many, many, many,
Yeah, long time.
generations. Yeah. And so we've kind of, created this, and I think, it feels good to get back with people in a human way. The more we do it, the better it feels. And when if something feels good, then keep doing it. As long as it doesn't, it's not negatively affecting anyone in any way. Yeah. So, I think it's very important, to get that connection, to get that feeling back, the feeling of actually being connected with one another as much as you can.
I've already noticed the impact of pool funding in the lives of people that have joined us, and they talk about the friendships. You can join like 100 different other business opportunities and never form a real friendship in any of them. But that's not true in pool funding. This environment that we've created here together is like the perfect ground to build friendships. Wouldn't you agree, Joe?
Yeah, definitely.
And that's a side benefit. That's a beautiful side benefit, right?
Yeah. And, we're all coming together as a community, helping one another and to help others.
And we
Yeah,
have our
you
we
know,
have our
that-
we have our
that's-
theme song "Pool Together."
Yeah.
So there you go.
That's very, very uplifting.
It
Every
is.
time I hear that, it's very uplifting. It's beautiful. So,
Yeah, came
yeah, and we're a good
to the
group.
heart of all this.
Yeah,
Shout out to Karen for making that for us. Thank you.
absolutely. Yep.
Rosalie, you got your hand up. Rosalie here in the Philippines with me.
Yes,
Hello, Rosalie.
yes, I can. You hear me?
You kind of sound like you're in a tunnel.
Hello, sir.
Oh, much better. Okay.
Okay. About the answer, my question is more on about um guarantee, which is it will not go to the guarantee fund now. It will go to the higher sponsor, right?
It'll
So
go to the
is it
next active sponsor above the person that missed their payment, whatever. Yeah.
yeah, that's including those who are suspended, something like that.
Yeah, because they're suspended. They can't make payments while they're suspended, right? So
Yeah. What if
it'll go right past the suspended people up to someone that's active.
what if the immediate sponsor is suspended and the second sponsor also suspended, sir?
Well,
What will happen
that's
to
why
the
I'm using
second?
it. That's why I'm using the terminology next, because next
Next.
active means that it's going to search, neat, bang, right? It's going to search the next active sponsor above. That could be 10
Yeah,
people up. It doesn't matter how far it has to go. It's just going to keep looking until it finds the next active sponsor. It will skip all the
yes, sir.
suspended people, all the people that forgot to make their payment that day, whatever. It's going to go to the next active person. And that's why in your transaction history, it's going to tell you the username of where it went, right?
Yes,
You
sir.
should be able to go to your genealogy and find that person, most likely just by going up on the genealogy.
Yeah, when referral to the user paid, they are paying to the account, but still it goes to the second sponsor, which is also suspended.
Well,
So still happen.
that's not the way it's supposed to be. That's so that would be a bug if
Yeah.
that's true. Okay, so
Yes.
that would be a bug.
Just to clarify it, sir.
Report that
Thank
to
you
the
very much.
programmer. Yeah.
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. No, my understanding is that it's going to go, but again, this is new. This just got launched this morning, and so if for some reason it's going to someone like that, we need to know about that immediately. So please don't hesitate to report directly to me, or to, if I'm not available, report to one of our executives that the payment went to someone that they're not active either. If that actually is true. I mean, I don't have evidence of that right now. I'm just taking what Rosalie said, but I have no case to point at. Okay. But if the case comes up, we need to identify it quickly and fix the code. That would be what I would call a bug. It's not intended to do
Yes,
that.
sir.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, sir. My report will coming very soon, sir.
All right. Okay. Very good. Scott, you're
Sorry,
muted.
I'm not.
Go ahead. No? Okay. All right. I guess he just
Sorry, no.
accidentally unmuted there. All right. Well, good meeting today, guys. But I'm telling you, the best way to make this a better world is from the bottom up. And I think that it's becoming very, very clear that humanity needs to grow up. Okay. Take on a little bit more responsibility and stop expecting the top to do everything for them. Right? This whole idea that these people over here are going to do everything for us, and they happen to be up here, right? In some kind of a top-down approach. Okay, how many times do we have to be let down by the top before we realize that that just doesn't work? Okay, let's get a clue. It's much better from the bottom up because then we know who we're dealing with, right? I mean, I can't pick up the phone and call certain people at the top of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I can always call one of you on my team. That makes sense? That's the difference. Okay. You're more impactful at the bottom than you are trying to deal with a top-down thing. And take Scott's experience, like he mentioned earlier about trying to chase down his pension. That's he went 2 months without them sending his pension payment to him. And he went emails and phone calls and and a lot of effort. And it took them months to finally send him his money that he's deserving to get on time. Okay, but they failed to do that for a couple of months in that case. Another top-down failure. Okay, and impacting one of our own here. Scott, who's present with us. And so it's sad and it's kind of scary. It's kind of scary, right, Scott? In the middle of that, you got a little worried there, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, a little scary.
Running out of money.
Running out of money. The whole thing's your life is kind of built around you got to pay bills, and that's you got to keep a roof over your head, stuff like that, food in your belly. You need money for that. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, we just now need to realize that it's up to us, the people, and we need to connect, and we could make that a blessing, not a curse. This connection can be turned into friendship. It can turn into, how many people just need a shoulder to cry on once in a while, That's a good thing. How many people want to celebrate a win, a victory? People love to be praised. People love to be, rewarded and recognized. Okay. That happens at the bottom. So the bottom up approach is the best approach for humanity to move in the direction where it needs to go. Okay. In order for us to mature as a species, it has to happen from the bottom up. That means you, me, and everybody else here. It's up to us. And this whole idea that we're gonna wait for somebody else to do it, literally there are people waiting for space aliens to come down from the sky and from the top down take care of us like that. Okay. There's quite literally, I see YouTube videos on this all the time. I can hardly wait for the space aliens to come in and save us. So stop thinking it's going to come from the top, guys. It's us. It's going to come from us. And we have a great system. Pool funding is a great system. And if we honor and respect the system and we hold each other accountable, okay, which by design, that's where we're going with the course and everything that's going to go with the course. The accountability factor will be there, solid. It wasn't there before, but it will be. Give me a few more weeks and we'll have that. This is the beginning of a lot of great things, and I'm excited about where we're at. I'm not concerned about anything. I see charts that I'm not concerned about any of it. I know things are going to go where they need to go, and they're going to get there sooner than a lot of you might be realizing. And I actually, I see the movie. I'm not stuck on a Polaroid snapshot picture of any particular day or whatever. I see where we're at in the creation of what we're doing here. And so I'm excited. I'm doing my best to be available day and night for any one of you, and especially if you show up to this meeting and I recognize your name, right? Imagine if I have 4 or 5 people that want me to reach out to them. I'm getting messages from them on Telegram, right? And I only have time to maybe talk to maybe one of them. You think I might be selective and like, oh, I recognize that name. They come to the meeting, okay? You think you get a little favor? Of course you're going to get favor, right? Another reason to show up, okay? There is only one of me, so I do my best to get back to people as quickly as possible, but I do favor people that show up. So thank you for showing up and thank you for being here. All right. That's good, guys. Good meeting. I'll let you guys go now. Spread the word that Ace is out of the refund business. Now all of you are in the refund business, okay? So yeah, I hope you guys take care of each other and do it the right way. If someone's making a mess of things, let me know, okay? All right. So if any situation like that. All right, so I'll go ahead and have you guys unmute and say, I can do this. How about just personalize it to the fact that it's up to you to make your life better? So how about I can do this? Just everybody unmute and say, I can do this.
this.
I can do
You
this.
can do
I
this.
can do this.
I can do this.
I can do this.
Do this.
I
You
can do this.
Fantastic. Okay, bye-bye, everybody.
Good night,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Good night.